It was the journey.
Well, maybe you could explain to us, we're all part of the Upper New York Annual Conference now, how the whole process is. You were at Fulton, and now you're at Endwell. How that process took place, and who made the initial call to you and said,
yes,
would you come to Endwell? And
the United Methodist Church has a very interesting procedure. It's called the itinerant system, and it's by appointment.
Okay.
It is year to year. So while I might be looking at being at Endwell for X number of years, that's not how the system works, and never has worked that way. It's always a year-to-year appointment where the cabinet, which is made up of the district superintendents and also the bishop, every year review all the churches, who's willing to move, what church would like their pastor to move, and that whole discernment process goes through. And I found myself, after just entering my 18th year at Fulton, it was time for a change. It was a great experience. We loved the people there. We felt loved. It was a great ride. But after a while, I think that I needed a new challenge, and I think they did too. We did not leave Fulton angry or gnashing our teeth, and neither did they. They didn't ask me to hand in my key and get out of town. We were not run out of town at all. As a matter of fact, we dearly loved them, and that will be the place that we'll always remember that our kids grew up. But it was just time for a change, and this system allows that to happen. But one thing that I always have to tell people who are not familiar with the United Methodist Church is they don't interview pastors. I wasn't interviewed to come here. The cabinet made the decision that based on Endwell's needs and my gifts, it would be a good match. And when I finally meet the committee that night, and it was a night in March, I think it was sometime, when we actually met. That's not an interview. That is, committee, meet your pastor, pastor, meet your committee, and if anybody can show just cause why this should not happen, speak now or forever hold your peace. So that's very unique in the United Methodist tradition. So it allows churches to make a change if it is needed, but also has some flexibility that if you don't need a change, a la Fulton for 18 years, you don't need to.
Now, let me just say, they come and say, okay, you're going to go to Endwell, and you don't feel comfortable doing that. Do you have any say in that? Or?
You didn't used to. I think the United Methodist Church has mellowed over the years. But yes, there is. As a matter of fact, speaking off the record here, I was asked to take a look at another church or two that just on the onset just didn't seem like a good fit. And the district superintendent and the bishop were gracious enough to say, okay, maybe you're right, but why don't you look here? So yeah, there is some leeway. Way back when, and I'm talking probably just a generation or two ago, United Methodist pastors would arrive at conference in June and find out whether they were moving July 1st. So things have mellowed with...
I was going to say, it's a big change because you,
huge.
You knew in March, so you really can...
Absolutely, yes.
Plan your farewell at your other church. It's not like all of a sudden, bam, it's happening. People have time to adjust.
And you know, we were just talking about this the other day, that I'm just finishing up my first full month today. I got the month of July behind me, and that's always a nerve-wracking month, trying to get to know everyone and such things. But we've been in this transition point since the middle of March. You know, buying a new home, getting it ready, coming back and forth, meeting with the staff, all those kinds of things. So we've only been here in ministry for a month, but it's seemed much longer than that because it has been much longer than that. So.
I guess with that in mind, 1 month down, I know you've had some challenges, and probably the biggest one is, brand new congregation, brand new names, trying to...
Absolutely.
Is there anything that sticks out that's really a big change for you?
That's a no-brainer. The biggest change is to know where I'm not needed and get out of the way. That has been my biggest challenge. I mean, I'll be in the office and it's already taken care of. I'll come over here, already taken care of, and that's very new to me. The Fulton experience was very hands-on. I had my hand kind of in every bit of what was going on, and I don't see that here, which is a breath of fresh air, but I have to learn to adapt to that. And find where am I going to put my talents and my gifts and my graces, and where I'm not going to, where it's not needed.
Well,
as
maybe
much.
you need to tell staff what they shouldn't be doing.
It seems to be.
I can speak from.
Yeah, you got some experience on that. Yeah, and so it's just kind of weeding my way around as to names and where people are and who's related to who and family trees and all of that. Of course, is overwhelming for the first year and such things. But I'm getting much more comfortable every Sunday. Kind of putting my own slant into worship and. By the grace of God, the people have been very comfortable with that, or at least they seem to be fairly comfortable with that up to this point.
Well, I will say energy level that you come across with, you can't walk out of the service without feeling that. It's, it's really great to see someone up there that has so much energy. It rubs off on you.
And I appreciate that, and that's something. As we live this out together, that every pastor has gifts and graces, and some and things that aren't areas that they're not as gifted in. And I just take great joy and pride, and I work very hard to make sure that Sunday is worthy to God.
Okay.